Hey guys, it's me, Nick D'Antoni. When I first started in hospice, I thought it was such an amazing vocation, helping people approach death with a feeling of peace and love. Unfortunately, I constantly witnessed unhappy clinicians and silly avoidable service failures. Knowing that hospice is what I wanted to do with my life, I sought out answers. Answers that would lead me to a literal mountaintop. On the other side of the country, I found a hospice guru of sorts, a truly national figure. His name is Andrew Reed, and he is the foremost expert in all things hospice. He's an amazing guy, and he's even a rock star who's made it on the Billboard 100. This crazy guy actually lives on a mountaintop in the middle of North Carolina, and after traveling up the mountain, he gave me his workbooks that detail his life's work in hospice. Turns out, he spent his whole life perfecting the patient-family experience of hospice care through detailed training and following a visit structure. He calls it the perfect visit. Not perfect because it's unattainable, but perfect in the original sense, meaning complete. A visit that doesn't miss anything, big or small. In hospice, there are no redos. This is their only mom or dad, so we have to get it right the first time. Every visit is a performance. To the patient, it doesn't matter if we're having a bad day. We have to be present for them, so we dial up our energy. Initially, Andrew started out with a checklist for clinicians to use, but it felt inauthentic and wooden. However, it did make sure that nothing was missed, big or small. Later, he discovered that if you sprinkle small images on key items throughout the visit, the images could remind the clinician of the next steps. These are called IRMs, image recall mechanisms. They let you have the success of a checklist without it feeling like you're reading a script. So we took the time to put together 2 stories of the perfect visit, one in a personal home and the other in a facility. In this video you're about to watch, I want you to take note of a few things. In the top right, you'll see the IRM for each visit step. On the bottom is the name of the step, which shows its phase and sequence. Visit steps that have a big emotional impact are in blue text. And finally, in the top left corner, you'll see a progress meter that shows the clinician's journey to a 100% complete visit. Every patient, every time. We put a lot of love in this. We did all this because we always hold close to our hearts that this is their only mom or dad. I hope you enjoy. The Perfect Visit, Nurse Emma's story.
Hospice nurse Emma's morning began with a quiet moment in her car parked outside the Henderson residence. She closed her eyes, whispered a prayer for God's help and guidance, then took a deep, calming breath. She deliberately chose to park at a distance from the driveway, respecting the family's space. As she prepared for the visit, Emma considered its purpose, to provide comfort to Richard Henderson, her hospice patient. She checked her team's coordination notes and saw that Richard really loves the movie Rocky. After making a mental note of that one detail, she switched her phone to vibrate. Looking at herself in the rearview mirror, she whispered, "I am a teacher," assuring herself that she could handle any situation that could arise. Considering everything she would need, she gathered her supplies and nursing bag from the trunk. Emma then made her way to the front door. She rang the doorbell and took a few steps back so she could be seen. She was greeted at the door by Richard's daughter. With a smile and a gentle voice, Emma projected warmth and a feeling of peace. Emma keenly observed the family's dynamics and the overall atmosphere of the room, reading it to adjust her approach accordingly. She set up a barrier for her nursing bag. "I heard you were watching Rocky last week. I love that movie," Emma said to Richard, allowing for a bonding moment between them. She sanitized her hands in front of him, demonstrating her commitment to hygiene and safety. Emma sat next to Richard, leaned in, and said, "What is your biggest concern today?" As Richard spoke, Emma practiced whole-body listening, paying attention not only to his words, but his tone and his body language. Impatiently, she began to think about what to say next, but instead, she recentered her mind back to Richard's words. She carefully validated his concerns, repeating his words to ensure understanding. "You're worried the pain will become unbearable," she said while matching his energy. She proceeded to manage his expectations with honesty and compassion. Pulling out her laptop, Emma informed him, "I'm going to get some notes to your doctor and to the team. It helps keep everyone on the same page so that you never have to repeat your story." She went on to provide hands-on care, checking Richard's vitals and attending to his needs. She also took time to demonstrate care techniques to Richard's daughter, ensuring she felt confident in replicating them. Emma said to her, "Now I'll have you do it and teach it back to me twice. It really sticks after you do it 2 times." Throughout the visit, Emma remained aware of the Hendersons' situation, predicting and addressing potential future needs. While counting medications and checking medical supplies, Emma maintained a conversational tone, ensuring that Richard and his family felt involved and informed. Following the doctor's standing orders, she sent in a new medication to the pharmacy and notified the doctor. She then messaged the team that Richard changed his mind and now wants a chaplain. She noted every fresh detail of the visit on her laptop and used descriptive words to paint a picture of Richard's condition. She reviewed the plan of care and updated her visit schedule. She carefully considered one detail to relay to the team so that they also could build rapport with Richard. She looked to Richard's daughter and affirmed her efforts. "I've watched what you're doing, and I really see the love and attention you give your dad. It's not easy, but you really are a hero." Emma then turned to include Richard, saying, "The new medication will be here tomorrow morning. You have everything you need. Is there anything else I can help with? I have time." As the visit came to an end, Emma meticulously cleaned and packed her nursing items. She closed Richard's chart and put away her laptop. With genuine gratitude in her voice, she thanked the family for their cooperation. She pointed out the number and view sheet, saying, "You can always call the main number if you need any help, day or night." Her parting words were warm and reassuring, leaving a comforting feeling behind as she said goodbye to everyone. When she got back to her car, Emma texted Richard's other daughter, his power of attorney, updating her on his condition. Emma also pondered to herself that Richard's wife may soon need an evaluation, as she has been slowing down lately. She took a moment to mentally let go before driving off to her next visit.
The Perfect Visit, Nurse Kevin's story.
To hospice nurse Kevin, it wasn't just another Tuesday. It was the best day of his life. As he arrived at Green Meadows Assisted Living, he parked his car and closed his eyes, centering himself in silence while taking a deep breath. He made sure his car was parked at a distance, being mindful to leave the visitor parking for the guests. Today's visit was not just about medical care, but about providing a comforting presence, an experience of peace. He checked his phone for any updates and noted one detail to bring up later in the visit. After switching his phone to vibrate, Kevin stepped out of his car. He looked at his reflection in the car window, adjusted his hair, and said out loud to himself, "I am a teacher," thus bolstering his confidence in his ability to guide and support his patient and the facility. After considering everything he would need, he gathered his essentials from his trunk and approached the facility with a purposeful stride. Kevin entered Green Meadows, his demeanor warm and inviting as he greeted the front desk staff and signed in. He proceeded to the locked memory care unit, a secure area where patients like Dorothy, his hospice patient, received specialized care. He casually asked the med tech in passing if she had any concerns. After a brief conversation, he knocked on Dorothy's open door and said, "Knock, knock! Hi, Dorothy. It's me, Kevin, your nurse." With a warm smile while reading the room, Dorothy, having severe dementia, responded with a long gaze and a subtle smile. Setting up his workspace, Kevin placed a barrier for his nursing bag. "I heard from your social worker, Nathan, that your granddaughter got married last weekend. It's so wonderful that you have that legacy," he said to her, and she smiled back at him. He sanitized his hands before kneeling down to get at her eye level. Even though he knew she couldn't respond due to her advanced dementia, he dignified her, calmly asking, "What is your biggest concern?" Kevin engaged in whole-body listening, observing her nonverbal cues. She quietly said the word,
"Sarah."
"Yes, your daughter Sarah loves you very much. Don't worry, I'm going to give her a call later and let her know how you're doing," he said while managing her expectations. He then pulled out his laptop and explained to her, "These help us so much so that your care team can stay on the same page." Kevin began hands-on care, doing a head-to-toe assessment, checking vitals and providing wound care. Since she was mainly in bed, Kevin did a 100% skin assessment, diligently checking for new issues. Since the facility staff was already taught on how to care for Dorothy, he progressed to the next step in the visit structure. Kevin was carefully considering Dorothy's diagnosis progression and anticipating what could happen next. He assessed her medication list, checked supplies and DME, and ordered a new, low air loss mattress to help provide relief. After contacting the doctor regarding a medication adjustment, he updated the team. Documenting the fresh details of the visit on his laptop, Kevin made sure not to overlook any important information. He thought for a moment on how to paint a picture using descriptive words, deciding to write that the wound looked like hamburger meat. He used charting techniques to accurately show historical comparisons, illustrating Dorothy's subtle decline. He updated the plan of care, tailoring it to Dorothy's evolving needs. He also made sure to tip the team one detail. Normally in his practice, he affirms the caregiver at this point, but since Dorothy is in a facility, he decided to call her daughter. "Hi Sarah, I'm with your mom," he informed her, providing updates and checking in. He carefully managed expectations by teaching her that her mom's non-healing wound is normal and to be expected. After ending the call, he returned to Dorothy saying, "This facility is wonderful. They are doing a good job taking care of you. You have everything you need. Is there anything else I can help with? I have time." She smiled back. Kevin carefully cleaned up and packed his nursing equipment before closing out his charting. He showed Dorothy the number and view sheet on the wall before expressing his gratitude and leaving her room. Since it was a facility, he knew med carts can be hard to get into, so he saved it for the end after visiting his other patients. He tracked down the med tech. She told him.
Don't worry, you're all good on meds.
Kevin gently replied, "You know me. I have to see it with my own eyes. Don't worry, I can wait. I have time." And patiently waited to get into the med cart. He took his time ensuring there was a full supply of scheduled and PRN medications. He proceeded to update the hospice binder and the facility sheet, and gave the facility the new physician order. He met briefly with the wellness director, assuring her, "Everything's going as expected with Dorothy. She's doing great. The new mattress will be here later today." He also suggested keeping an eye out for signs of temporal muscle wasting in other residents, and offered to help introduce hospice services to their families if needed. After warmly saying goodbye to everyone on his way out, he made his way back to his car. He put his faith in the perfect visit and the hospice's system of support, and he mentally released his concerns for Dorothy so that he could return to his own family worry-free.
I want to genuinely thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking all this seriously. Some people would feel like this is overkill, or they say it's better to just wing it. But I ask you, is it worth the gamble? Should the quality of the visit be up to the roll of a dice? If this was your mom or dad, the real answer reveals itself. It is worth hours of training just to prevent even 1 hour of pain. You would not believe the transformation that takes place when this visit structure is actually followed. Things flow so smoothly and nothing is missed, big or small. It is complete. It is, dare I say, perfect. I want to thank you for your energy, your time, and your life that you spend giving patients your all. There is one last thing I'd like to share, something I think about frequently. Dr. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, he said the one thing that they can never take away from you is your ability to choose your attitude in any given circumstance. You see, we get a choice in how we experience this world. And to me, it's not just another day. It's the best day of my life. Thank you, and that's all, folks.